Hello, Sporp, back at it again with another viewer question. If you have a question for me about either software development, either how to do it or how to get a job in it, if you have questions about 3D modeling or 3D printing, or if you have any questions for any of the other subjects that I cover, game design being one of them, small business ownership, although I'm not profitable yet. I'm starting to make some revenue, but it's not offsetting the current costs of my business. If you have any questions relating to any of these fields, I'm happy to answer them. Either leave me a comment, but if you want to sort of get a main line to me, go to contact@sport.shop, send me an email with a question, put viewer question in the subject header, or if you have any business sort of propositions, sponsorships, that sort of thing, hit me up at contact@sporp.shop, which will eventually be my store page for this YouTube channel. Today's question comes from Riley. Looking over a year back from your launch, what was the conclusion with your game, audience reception, shipping, funding, etc.? I'm interested to know what and how you ended up doing. So we're going to tackle these things one at a time. Audience reception, pretty much thumbs up most of the way around. We do better with people who have already played the games with us, obviously. Last year, Carbon. Available at lyoc.shop. We have a limited inventory left. I recommend it. I love this game to pieces. Still doing minor tweaks and edits when it goes to translating the rules to our users, but everything that you need for the game is in this box, more or less. One caveat to that is my parents struggle to understand the game, and for people who are lighter when it comes to playing board games, lighter in terms of playing board games, people who've never played like Catan or Seven Wonders, they tend to struggle picking up this game. The verbiage is correct, but understanding the verbiage and understanding sort of how games function, if you're not decently well versed in how board games are played, you may struggle to pick up this board game. And actually, the video after this one that will come out will dive a bit more into detail about essentially that, improving this game and getting it back out in the world. So it's a mixed bag. People who understand it really like it. I always get that wonderful compliment from people that I play with who say, oh, I want to play it again sometime. I would love to play it again. And they're not just blowing smoke up my ass. I know people who play this game and have played it multiple times over and over and love it. That's just such a compliment. I love seeing it out in the world. I love seeing it on people's shelves when I go to friends' houses. Audience reception is fairly good, and for the issues that we tend to have, I am going to add an FAQ rules addition to the website to better explain some of the more intricate rule interactions. Shipping, we didn't charge shipping, and this, you got to make a decision as you are kickstarting your game. Is this going to be your passion project, or is this going to be a business? If it's a business, the money you're taking in should be greater than your costs. We were not in that situation. This is the first time myself and my two friends who are in this business with me ever did something like this. We ended up raising $15K for this board game. We just passed our goal. Excuse me. The bill for this game from our manufacturer, Longpack, they're great. They're very communicative. I think they did a great job on producing this game. The bill was $15,200. We only got $13,750 from Kickstarter, and then we didn't get shipping from people. So we ended up losing, let's say, $10 shipping per person, 200 units going out to people. We probably lost in total around $4,000 between the three guys that did this business with me. Now, to be fair, we all agreed going into this is our passion project. The end goal is get the board game out there, and we're okay with eating a certain level of cost, and that was within our threshold of what we were okay with eating between the three of us. Now, there still are a few additional costs. There's some people we got to refund who purchased the game from internationally that we were not able to ship the game to due to EU regulations. We still need to refund them. There is offsetting the carbon footprint, which we promised to do and still haven't done, but I haven't forgotten about it, which is another cost that will have to be covered if we do paid advertising. And I say we, it's now just me. Part of the conclusion of this was a better understanding of who you go into business with. My two friends only really wanted to make a board game. It's been my dream to own and operate a small business. I don't like working for other people. I don't like being stuck to a set schedule. It's my dream to have a sort of small business that I can crank at when I want to and then go off and do things and just like be out in the sun during the day. That's my end goal. And because our end goals were no longer aligned after the creation of this game, that business is shutting down. 110 points. A little sad. I really love that name, but it's coming to an end. And my own personal LLC is going to be absorbing all the IP and assets for this game, along with around 200 units. Once again, last year carbon, available at lilac.shop. Limited supply available if you still want to get a copy. You should buy it. I love this thing. I poured about on and off 5 years of my life into this thing, and I love it. It's backstabby and tricky, and you never really know who's going to win until the very end. So I love this thing to pieces. Funding, how we ended up doing. We ended up completing it, like I said, with that threshold of the cost we were okay with eating. And then we parted ways, and it was sad and somber. It was sort of a mutual breakup. If you're doing a game by yourself, it's tough to do everything, and I see that with my own personal business as well. You got to be on it constantly. You got to be able to eat those shit sandwiches, as they're called. I'm not great at doing marketing and sales and all that. I much prefer the creative aspect, R&D, and brain blasting, I guess. Thinking and ideation and bringing those ideas to life. That's the part I really love. And in order to do the parts that you love, you got to do the parts that you hate. We ended up going through 12 iterations of this board game before we came to its conclusion. And I think it's 12. It might be even more. We spent a full summer working on this thing my college ran this think tank for students, and this was the brainchild of that. And that's sort of where we ended up. I'm going to dive a little bit more into future steps for this game. I think I talked about audience reception already, but people who play it and understand it love it. If I'm there and I can explain everything, it's great, but there's just little intricacies that are missing when people pick up this game independently from our rules video and from the rulebook itself. So I'm going to be adding a rules wiki to the Last Year Carbon website, so look forward to that. The game is available on Tabletop Simulator. I think I just got to post it publicly. But I love it. That's how we play tested over COVID. If you're going to release a board game, play test it a lot and ensure that we should have done this more. We just struggled with it because of COVID. Get random people to pick up your game and say nothing. Essentially, you don't have to have the one-way mirror, the two-way mirror, I guess. But watch a game being played and offer no suggestion and see where people get stuck. We could have massaged some of the rules a little bit better, made some of the things a little clearer for people who aren't in the know with the devs so that they can pick up and play the game. Play test a lot, print all your assets, find the absolute minimum number of assets that your game needs to cut costs down. It's going to be a question of how much you think you can raise, and probably our network of friends and family probably covered about 60 to 75% of this game, which, I don't know what that says about market viability, but we have a very good network of people who all wanted to see this thing come out in the world. And you're going to have to scrape. You're gonna have to scrape hard. We lucked out. My brother was incredibly generous when it came for us for funding this game. Yeah, but it helps to know people that have some spare cash. It really helps get you over the finish line. So if you're whatever threshold you set your funding rate at, I would A, charge shipping afterward if it's going to be a significant portion of money, and B, charge at least 25 to 50% more than you think that you need to raise. Just because it gets expensive, costs add up, and there will be hidden costs that will just keep punching you in the dick. And playtest it a lot. And be cheap about playtesting. When we were developing the cards for this, we made them in PowerPoint and we printed them out on cardstock at Staples, and we used one of those paper guillotines to chop out the cards. Be very economical with your playtest product, but don't skimp on the final product. And look up the rules and regulations that you need to have for a board game. There was an article that I'm going to post about everything your board game needs, but you need somewhere a content list, the list of contents that your board game includes, which is right there. It helps to have the number of players on the outside, the playtime, which hour is, if you know the game, it takes about an hour. If you don't, it can probably take an hour and a half to 2. The age limit. What else do we got on here? It helps that we had a graphic designer on the team, and he did a wonderful, wonderful job. I've been using League Spartan Bold, which is this font for everything, since we used it for this board game, because it looks like the Team Fortress 2 font. And I still play Team Fortress 2 religiously. I'm a filthy little sniper main. And you need the manufacturer, who made the game, the business, both the name and the location, because you need a legit business location, along with some form of contact on the box itself. And what we did, which I'm super, super proud of, this was my responsibility, was essentially the packaging and ensuring that everything fit in the most compact box possible, because I hate waste. Everything fits in this tiny, tiny little box. It's crammed shut, and we reuse the box as one of the game pieces while you're playing. So be economical where you can. It will help you cut costs in the long run. Cut corners in terms of, like, we made 3D molds for 2 of the pieces that are in this game, but everything else is just bulk bought parts, the energy cubes and the carbon pieces. Be economical, be frugal, cut the funding limit down to as little as you're physically capable of, but also make your funding limit more than you think, because even if you do it more than you think, you're still probably going to have to put a couple dollars in. But it will give you the advanced benefit of having inventory afterward, which you can continue to sell and use to fund your business. Well, Riley, I think that about covers all of it. I hope this has been helpful for you, and let me know if there's anything else that I haven't covered, any other questions that I can help you out with. It's been real. Best of luck, Riley. Let me know when you put your game out there. I'd love to support you. I like funding games, and I like, after you form that bit of a connection with someone, trying to help them out and seeing what they got involved with their lives. I'd love to play it on Tabletop Sim if you get it on there. Making a digital version of it really helps when it comes to playtesting, especially since I was in Brooklyn, another guy was in Manhattan, and then the third guy was in Seattle. So being able to play digitally really helped us fine tune and tweak and get the game to where it is, which I think is fairly balanced. But just like I said, last little issue is just translating the game rules and rule interactions to the player. Hope this was helpful. Hope you have a good day. Sporp out.